The mansion stood tall, a monument to wealth. Marble gleamed, fountains danced. Yet nature encroached upon the manicured grounds, hedges overgrown, roses unruly, a testament to time's passage and a heart's neglect. He was a man of routine, lost in grief. Work consumed him, his heart a locked vault of memories, aching ever since she was gone. He watched from the balcony, her silhouette bent over the rose bushes, a familiar curve to her shoulders, a tug at his memory, sharp and unexpected. He was lost in the past, a time that seemed so distant yet so vivid in his mind. The memories flooded back, each one more poignant than the last. Eyes closed, he saw her face, bright, full of life. Her smile was like a beacon, guiding him through the darkest of times. It was a smile that could light up a room, a smile that he would never forget. Her laughter, a symphony that echoed in his ears. It was a sound that brought him immense joy, a melody that played on repeat in his heart. They shared countless moments of happiness, their laughter intertwining like a beautiful duet. They had met at a charity gala. He, the wealthy businessman, always surrounded by people yet feeling so alone. She, a volunteer, her spirit radiant and her heart full of compassion. Their worlds collided in the most unexpected way. She, a volunteer, her spirit radiant. Her kindness knew no bounds, and her dedication to helping others was truly inspiring. She had a way of making everyone feel special, of making the world a better place one small act of kindness at a time. Their love, a whirlwind of stolen moments and whispered promises. They cherished every second they spent together, knowing that life was fleeting and precious. Their love story was one for the ages, filled with passion, adventure, and an unbreakable bond. He remembered the day he proposed. It was a moment he had planned meticulously, wanting everything to be perfect. He got down on one knee, his heart pounding with anticipation. On a beach, waves crashing around them. The setting was idyllic, the sound of the ocean providing a soothing backdrop to the most important question he would ever ask. Her answer, a resounding yes, filled him with a joy he had never known, her eyes shining brighter than the diamond ring he held. Then, the accident, the screeching tires, the blinding lights. It all happened so fast, a cruel twist of fate that tore their world apart. The memory of that night haunted him, a constant reminder of what he had lost, her absence, a gaping hole in his life. The emptiness was overwhelming, a void that could never be filled. He found himself lost in a world that no longer made sense, a world without her. He was left adrift in a sea of sorrow. The pain was relentless, a storm that raged within him. Yet amidst the heartache, he held on to the memories of their time together. Those precious moments were his lifeline, a testament to a love that would never die. He knew that as long as he remembered her, she would always be with him, in his heart and in his soul. The gardener moved with grace, her touch gentle on the rosebuds. A wave of longing washed over him. So similar, too similar. He found himself drawn to the garden. Each day he watched her, studied her movements, the way she tilted her head, just like she used to. He told himself it was his imagination, a cruel trick of the light. But the feeling persisted, growing stronger with each passing day. He yearned to speak to her, to hear her voice, but fear held him back. Fear of the truth, whatever it may be. The sun glinted off something around her neck, a necklace, a silver heart locket, adorned with a single ruby. His breath hitched. He knew that locket. It was hers, the one he had gifted her on their first anniversary, the one she swore she'd never take off. The world tilted on its axis. Denial crumbled. It couldn't be, could it? He had to know. He descended the grand staircase, each step heavy with anticipation and dread. He stood at the edge of the garden, his voice a dry rasp when he finally spoke.
Excuse me.
The gardener turned, startled, her eyes wide and questioning. They were the same shade of blue, the same warmth.
That necklace.
She touched the locket, a confused frown creasing her brow.
It was a gift from my grandmother.
He shook his head, his world spinning.
Your grandmother?
Her name. He had to know her name.
What's your name?
His voice was a strained whisper. She hesitated, her gaze flickering to his face.
Elena.
Elena. His heart hammered against his ribs. It was her middle name. The name she cherished, shared only with those closest to her. Coincidence? Fate? Or something more profound? something that defied logic and reason. He reached out, fingers trembling, and gently touched the locket. The metal was cold against his skin, yet it felt as though he was being scorched. Elena took a step back, clutching the locket protectively.
Is something wrong, sir?
He looked into her eyes, seeing her fear, and forced himself to breathe.
Tell me about your grandmother.
He pleaded. He needed to know. And so she did. She spoke of a woman named Amelia, a woman who had loved and lost, who had treasured a silver locket with a ruby heart, a woman who had died young, leaving behind a legacy of love and a granddaughter who bore a striking resemblance to the woman she had loved and lost. As Elena spoke, the pieces of the puzzle fell into place. Amelia, his love's older sister, estranged, their relationship fractured by time and circumstance.
He had never known about Elena, had never known his beloved had a niece out there carrying her blood and, it seemed, her face.
The world blurred. The weight of years of grief and longing pressed upon him. He stumbled, his hand finding purchase on a nearby marble statue. Elena rushed to his side, her touch gentle as she helped him to a nearby bench. Concern etched on her features, so like his lost loves. He explained everything. Their love story, the accident, the necklace, a symbol of a love that had been ripped away too soon. Elena listened patiently, her eyes wide with sympathy.
When he was finished, she reached into her pocket and pulled out a worn photograph. My grandmother told me about her sister, she said softly, about their falling out. She regretted it, you know. Always kept this photo close.
She handed him the photograph. It was Amelia, young and vibrant, the silver locket gleaming against her dress, the same dress she had worn the day she met him. A strange sense of peace settled over him. It was as if the weight of the world had been lifted from his shoulders, and for the first time in a long while, he could breathe freely. The garden around him seemed to mirror his inner calm, with its vibrant flowers and gentle breeze. It wasn't her, not entirely. The woman standing before him was different, yet there was something undeniably familiar about her. Her presence stirred memories he had long buried, memories of laughter, love, and loss. But in Elena, he saw a glimpse of the woman he had loved and lost. It was in the way she smiled, the way she moved, and the way she looked at him with those eyes that seemed to see right through to his soul. He wasn't sure if it was fate, coincidence, or something else entirely. The universe had a way of weaving intricate patterns, and sometimes it was hard to tell if it was guiding him or playing tricks on him, or simply the universe playing a cruel joke. The confusion was palpable, but amidst the uncertainty, there was a sense of clarity. He realized that some things were beyond his control, and perhaps that was okay. But in that moment, he felt a surge of gratitude. Gratitude for the memories, for the love he had experienced, and for the chance to feel something profound once more. It was a rare gift, and he cherished it deeply.
He had been given a second chance, a chance to heal, to grow, and to find new meaning in his life. It was an opportunity to embrace the present while honoring the past, a chance to connect with a part of his past, to revisit the moments that had shaped him, and to find solace in the memories that had once brought him pain, to keep the memory of his love alive. He held onto the keepsakes, the photographs, and the mementos not as relics of a bygone era, but as reminders of a love that had transcended time.
He looked at Elena, at the kindness and compassion in her eyes, and saw a reflection of the love he had once known. It was a love that had never truly left him, but had transformed into something new and beautiful, and saw not a ghost, but a woman worthy of his respect and affection. In her, he found a new beginning, a chance to build something meaningful, and a reason to hope for the future. The past and present intertwined, creating a tapestry of acceptance and gratitude. He stood, Elena mirroring his movements. The air between them was thick with unspoken words, a silent understanding that transcended the need for speech. They had shared so much, yet there was still so much left unsaid. The garden around them, once a place of solitude, now felt like a sanctuary of memories and promises. He offered her a sad smile, reaching out to gently touch the locket once more. The locket was more than just a piece of jewelry. It was a symbol of a bond that had weathered the storms of time. His fingers traced the delicate design, each touch a silent vow to never forget. The locket had once belonged to someone dear, someone who had left an indelible mark on both their lives.
"It suits you," he whispered, his voice thick with emotion. The words were simple, yet they carried the weight of 1,000 unspoken sentiments. He had chosen the locket for her, believing it would be a way to keep the past close while embracing the future. His voice trembled slightly, betraying the depth of his feelings. She would have liked that. His eyes grew distant as he spoke, lost in the memories of a time when things were simpler, when love was new and untainted by loss. The garden had been her favorite place, a haven where she could escape the world and dream. Now it was a place where he could feel her presence, a reminder that she was never truly gone.
And as he looked into Elena's eyes, he knew he would tell her their story. The story of a love that had endured, of promises made and kept, of a bond that had survived the test of time. He saw in her eyes a reflection of his own feelings, a shared understanding that words could never fully capture. They were connected by more than just memories. They were bound by a promise whispered in the quiet moments of their lives. He would keep their memory alive, not just for himself, but for the woman who unknowingly carried a piece of his heart within her. The locket was a bridge between the past and the present, a tangible reminder of a love that had shaped their lives. He knew that by sharing their story, he was honoring the legacy of a love that had given him strength and hope. The overgrown garden suddenly seemed full of hope, a testament to the enduring power of love and the unexpected ways in which it could blossom anew. The flowers, once neglected, now bloomed with a vibrant intensity, as if they too were part of the story. The garden was a living testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a reminder that even in the face of loss, love could find a way to flourish. It was a promise whispered in the rustling leaves, a vow that love would always find a way. The millionaire couldn't shake the feeling of déjà vu as he looked at Elena, the gardener. The resemblance to his deceased girlfriend was uncanny, and the curiosity gnawed at him. With a gentle yet determined tone, he invited her to sit with him in the garden's heart, a place where truth seemed to be waiting to be uncovered. Pause 2. S. The sun was beginning to set, casting a golden hue over the foliage. As they settled onto an aged wooden bench, the air was thick with anticipation. He started with simple questions, easing into the conversation, but his mind was swirling with deeper inquiries. Pause 2. S. Tell me about yourself, Elena, he asked, his voice soft but insistent. Where did you grow up? How did you come to work here? Elena hesitated, her fingers nervously tracing the edge of the bench. She began to share her story, a tale of hardship and resilience that mirrored so many others. She spoke of her childhood in a small, forgotten town, the loss of her parents, and the struggles she faced to survive. Pause 2. S. As she spoke, he noticed the uncanny coincidences. Her past held fragments of a story he knew all too well. There were places she mentioned that he had visited with his lost love, events that seemed eerily similar. His heart raced as he listened, piecing together the puzzle. Pause 2. S. You mentioned a locket, he said, his voice trembling. Can you tell me more about it? Elena's eyes widened in surprise. She reached for the locket around her neck, the same one he had given her earlier. This locket, she began, was given to me by my grandmother. She said it was a family heirloom, something that had been passed down through generations. Pause 2. S. He felt a chill run down his spine. The locket's design was unique, unmistakable. It had belonged to his girlfriend, a gift from her own grandmother. The pieces of the puzzle were falling into place, but the picture was still incomplete. Pause 2. S. Your grandmother, he said, his voice barely above a whisper. What was her name? Elena paused, her brow furrowing in thought. Her name was Maria, she replied. Maria Alvarado. Pause 2. S. The name struck him like a thunderbolt. Maria Alvarado was the name of his girlfriend's grandmother. The realization hit him with a force that left him breathless. Elena was not just a gardener, she was a link to his past, a living connection to the woman he had lost. Pause 2. S. As they continued to talk, more secrets were unveiled. They discovered shared histories, hidden truths, and a bond that transcended time. The conversation took unexpected turns, revealing that their meeting was not a mere coincidence, but a twist of fate. Pause 2. S. The garden, once a place of solitude, now felt like a stage where destiny had brought them together. The millionaire and the gardener, bound by shared blood and shared history, found themselves connected in ways they had never imagined. Pause 2. S. and as the last rays of sunlight faded, they knew that their lives would never be the same. The past had been unveiled, and with it, a new chapter